Madam Chairman, thank you so much. And I want to thank you for the hearing today. I think that looking at what is happening on the world stage with the cartels and the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, is something that we're continuing to see more of. And the fact that these precursor chemicals seem to be coming in by the container load, as one of our Tennessee sheriffs said, when they apprehend drugs now, they used to apprehend things in grams and now it's all in pounds. So we appreciate what the Coast Guard does. Admiral, I do have a question about the budget justification that states that failing to achieve counter-drug performance measures was due to a decrease in the number of surface assets due to reallocation to migrant interdiction operations. And we know that a decade ago that the Coast Guard would interdict 15% of estimated cocaine maritime drug flows. And in 23, the numbers were 3.6%. So do you continue to see a reduction? Do you expect to continue to see a reduction in drug interdiction because of the illegal migrant flows?
Senator Blackburn, thank you for your question. So I was the Atlantic Area Commander for the Coast Guard in 2023. As I took command in 2022, we were beginning to see an uptick in irregular maritime migration from Haiti and from Cuba, moving in the South Florida Straits and off the Windward Pass towards South Florida. So I made the decision, after notifying the Commandant, that we were going to begin to shift major Coast Guard cutters, aircraft, and personnel from the counter-drug mission, which is about saving lives and protecting our border, but over to the effort to stop the irregular maritime migration toward the U.S., which is also about saving lives and protecting our border. Our mission there, which is conducted in a task force, a Department of Homeland Security task force, is to prevent a maritime mass migration that, would it occur, would present a national security threat to the U.S. The last time that happened was in 1994 from both Haiti and Cuba. And so we surged assets starting in August of 2022 to prevent that from happening, maintaining a higher than 80% at-sea interdiction rate. And again, our mission is to interdict those ventures, those migrant ventures, as far from U.S. shores as possible, and then rapidly repatriate them to their country of origin. So it's a life-saving and a border control mission. And over the last 2 years, we've been successful in preventing a maritime mass migration. We will always have a presence to prevent that pressure against the U.S. southeast border. And now we've begun in the last several months to shift those major cutters back to the drug interdiction mission, working for Admiral Burdian at Joint Task Force South.
Let me, not to interrupt, but I do want to ask you this. Going back to February 23, when you started to see an uptick and a skyrocketing in the numbers of the illegal migrants, you had two senior members of the Coast Guard that wrote an article, and they talked about the migrant interdiction operations were in a state of emergency. So tell me where you put the number to say we are now in a state of emergency, and how many a day, a week, a month, a year? What are you facing? You have referenced twice when you got to that state of emergency. Oh, so are we still in what you would classify as state of emergency?
Thank you for the question, Senator Blackburn. So under our plan, which is a Homeland Security plan that we lead, we entered a surge phase for prevention of a mass migration. So it's not, emergency was not a term we were using at the time, but we were seeing a historic surge in irregular maritime migration. And so we took an urgent approach to address that.
Okay, let me ask you this, because with some of the migrants, these illegal aliens that come to the southern border, or you are interdicting them at sea, we know that there are gang members, Tren de Agua, TDA, the Venezuelan gang. You also have MS-13. These are dangerous people. So what are you doing to protect our men and women in uniform so that they are going to be safe as they are handling these instances?
Thank you, Senator. So first, we make sure that our people, our Coast Guard men and women that are conducting this mission and encountering migrants at sea are well-trained and that they have the equipment they need to be able to process and then repatriate those migrants safely, and then continue to treat each person we encounter with dignity and respect until we know their background. And we do collect biometrics. That's an expansion of the capability that we had. We started that in 2023. So we better understand who we are encountering at sea.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Next, we have